The Golden State Warriors established one of the most dominant dynasties we've ever seen in the NBA. Unfortunately, it seems the dynasty is about to come to an abrupt end. Their championship in 2022 was not long ago, but their past 2 seasons have been a far cry from the championship level they were at in 2022. This season has finally shown the cracks in the dynasty, and it seems like it's about to shatter. If you like these kind of videos, please press subscribe button. It helps me out a lot and lets me know that you guys enjoy these videos. Thank you very much. After starting the season 6-2, the Warriors have gone 6-12 and sit at a 12-14 record on the season. A lot of this can be attributed to the injuries and suspensions affecting this team from ever being able to play with their best guys. GP2 injured his calf and has missed significant time. Chris Paul has missed games this season. Wiggins and Steph Curry have each missed 2 games this season. And worst of all, Draymond Green, who was injured to start the season and was then suspended for 5 games after choking out Rudy Gobert. Now, most recently, he's been suspended indefinitely. It is unknown when or if Draymond even comes back this season, which is a huge loss for this Warriors team that still depends on Draymond's elite defense. Once again, his irrational actions have cost his team. With all these players missing games, the team hasn't been able to establish any rhythm since their 6-2 start. The championship players and veterans on this roster have extremely underperformed this season. The main 2 culprits of this are Andrew Wiggins and Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is having his worst shooting season since his rookie year. Klay is averaging 16 points per game on 40% from the field and 36% from 3. These are Klay's worst shooting splits in his career. Klay is not the same player as he was even last season when he led the NBA in 3-pointers. Seemingly, Klay overnight has forgotten how to shoot, and in most games he tries to force shots. Many times you'll see Klay come off a screen doubled or with a guy in his face and still take the shot, which leads to a bad miss, which is basically the same as a turnover. Klay was left to sit on the bench in the clutch against the Suns, and ever since then, Klay has turned his season around. Recently, he has been shooting the ball much better, so signs are in the right direction for Klay. It's just a question of if he can keep it up. The worst fall off of all is Andrew Wiggins. He's having a career worst year. He is averaging 12 points per game, 4.3 rebounds per game, on 41% from the field and 26% from 3. He went from the 3rd option on a championship team to one of the worst offensive players in the NBA right now. Every shot Wiggins puts up, it feels like it's going to be a miss. It seems that he has no confidence in his shot. Another huge problem is his inability to finish at the rim currently. Within less than 10 feet, Wiggins is at 54%. Last season, Wiggins shot 58% in this area. And in the year the Warriors won the championship, he shot 60% from the paint. Wiggins offensively is just not there right now, and it's hurting this team very badly. It's caused Steve Kerr to send him to the bench, where we've seen flashes of the player he was, but at times it feels like he isn't even on the court. Wiggins needs to find some semblance of consistency for this Warriors team to succeed. It'll be a tough decision for the front office on what to do with Klay and Wiggins, whether to trade them or hope they get better later in the season. Regardless of what they do, these 2 guys are hurting the Warriors badly. The coaching on this team has been absolutely horrendous by Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr's offensive ideology is extremely outdated at this point in the NBA. The motion sets that Steve Kerr runs are extremely readable. The whole league knows what's coming because they've run these same sets for the past 6 seasons. The Warriors are currently ranked 16th in offensive rating. The team needs to see newer ideas injected into the offense, and the lack of change is evident, especially in the lineup Steve Kerr has run. The Warriors starting lineup of Steph, Klay, Wiggins, Draymond, and Looney was the best 5-man lineup in the league last year, but things have changed. They are now a negative lineup. Their net rating is negative 9.8 and has been one of the worst units this year. But regardless of how bad this 5-man lineup was together, Steve Kerr still wouldn't change it until it was too late and they were 3 games under 500. Another puzzling lineup decision is putting Steph Curry and Chris Paul together in the same lineup. Of all lineups with Steph and Chris Paul together, the net rating is negative 40.2, and yet constantly Steve Kerr closes with lineups of Steph and Chris Paul, which defensively is unable to hold up against these other teams. A final criticism of Steve Kerr was his refusal to play the young guys, specifically Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga. This season, they are extremely dependent on these 2 taking a Year 3 jump to help this team potentially compete for a championship. This hasn't really happened, especially at the start of the season. Kuminga and Moody both averaged less than 21 minutes per game, and they played less minutes than Dario Saric even, a minimum contract. Kerr was at times not even playing Moody or Kuminga, leaving them both with DNPs, even though their impact was apparent to those watching. But Steve was stuck with the older guys. This created mass criticism towards Steve Kerr for his treatment of Moses Moody in specific, as the national media got on him for not playing the kid when it's evident he can help win. Fortunately, as of late, Steve Kerr has started to play Kuminga and Moody. They've both shown up and they can help produce, but at times it feels far too late. Another young player that has had an insane impact on the court has been Trayce Jackson-Davis. The Warriors rookie center has had back-to-back games scoring double digits points and a double-double against the Celtics. He has been integral to the Warriors winning the past 2 games, but before these games he had 10 DNPs and only played 8 minutes per game. So it's a huge question as to how the coaching staff didn't see they needed him. His athletic ability and rim protection is a drastic difference to the slow, loony, and bad defender in Saric. The Warriors have been bottom 3 in the NBA in blocks per game, so they desperately needed rim protection, and yet they still took too long to play TJD. It's good to see the coaching staff finally recognize TJD, but these changes needed to come quicker, especially if your older guys aren't playing well enough. The Warriors have been one of the greatest dynasties in sports history, and they are finally starting to stumble. The Warriors have been extremely up and down this season, and currently they are on the upswing with their huge win against the Celtics to push their win streak to 3. It was a win that could potentially change their season and turn them back into a highly competitive team. We'll just have to see on this final point whether or not the Warriors can build off this 3-game win streak, or if it's just a random hot streak that a bad team has. Overall, you can never doubt Steph Curry-led teams, so I'll always hold faith in this roster as long as he's on the team. Thank you for watching. Peace out.